Hi, in this video we are going to carry on with PHP programming. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video can be found at this URL, which is case sensitive. It is also loaded here. Okay, we finished our EG001 basic.php. To see the code on this page, you must look at the text file. Okay, to see the PHP code, because if you look at the PHP file, you see the output, and you know that if you view source, you see the output in HTML, not PHP. Okay, because the PHP engine actually process all the PHP code and turn it into HTML. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to do this EG002 basic. So to do that, we are going to first start the Apache web server by clicking on the xampp control. Okay, and then try to get to the output here. So I'm going to copy it, paste it here. So we have the EG001 basic. We want to do another file, okay, and to create that file, we need to, let me close this first. Let me close that as well. Okay, we need to open the File Explorer, go to C drive, 10 folder, my PHP, and I'm going to create a new file, but I don't want to start everything over again. So what I do is I copy my EG001 basic, paste it here, rename it to EG002 basic. Okay, and then open it in Notepad++. So now I have the skeleton of EG001 basic. All I need to do is I'm going to change the title. Okay, I'm going to take out everything here. I don't need it. I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep my PHP tag here. Okay, delete everything, save your work. Come over here, reload, look at the file. So you have your second template to start with. So it's good that you can keep just doing that, so you don't have to keep typing all the HTML tags. Okay. So first we're going to talk about variables. Before you do this, please read the textbook, the portion about variables. Okay, and if you are in my class, you should also have access to a PowerPoint, so look at the PowerPoints about variables. I'm not going to explain too much about what variables are, what type of variables. I'm just going to code. Okay, so I'm going to declare first a variable called count equal to 12, and that is an integer. So this is comments in PHP, okay, and I can echo it. Count. This means concatenation. Concat to a string. So I save here, Control S to save. Reload. 12 is of what type? Okay, you know it's an integer because you assign this as an integer. What you need to do is use a function name called getType. Reload, you get 12 is an integer. All right, and I can declare another variable. Let's call it list price. And of course, by now you should know if I put a $sign, it means a variable declaration in PHP. It should be a double. And I know that, so what I do is I just copy this, Control C, Control V here, and say my list price is get type list price. Control S to save, reload. You'll see that 9.5 is a double because automatically they know that it's a double. And they are on the same line, not very nice, so I'm going to concat br/n. br means line break, /n means when I see the source code, you'll go to the next line. Oh, don't forget a concat. Control S to save. Reload, you have it in the next line. Okay? So since we have that, let us do string. Okay? Realize I use single quote, not double quote. Okay? I'm going to explain the difference later. When I declare string, they are almost the same, double quote or single quote. So trust me, they are strings. I'm not going to do the get type anymore. I'm just going to echo it. So you have Bob, right? When I do, okay, when you declare, whether you use single quote or double quote doesn't really matter, but when you try to echo them, it actually make a difference. So let's say I want to echo last name, okay? And I can do this. I will get last name is Anderson, but if I'm lazy, I don't want to do concat. In PHP, I can actually put my variable inside the double quote, and then you actually will get Anderson. They are going to evaluate the variable, and if you put double quote, you can actually put br/n. Inside the double quote, you actually get that. Okay, but if you put single quote, they will treat it as a string, but not variables. So they will not evaluate it. So you will get last name, this funny sign, you get your BR, but /n won't be, so you get some funny stuff. So in this case, you are going to use double quote. But double quote is not very good in the sense that because you ask the PHP to evaluate a variable inside the double quote, it takes more power. So the PHP engine actually do more work, right? So it's a good way to do it. Probably you do single quote and you do a concatenation. And then you do a double quote for the BR, because if you do single quote for BR, that won't work. Then you get that. Oh, I need a space here. Okay, Control C, Control V, reload. Control C, reload. Sorry, Control S to save, reload. So remember that. All right. So we talked a little bit about the difference between double quote, evaluating variables, and single quote and concat. So a good practice would be this. Always use single quote, right? Okay. But when we code, we're a bit lazy here, so we use a lot of double quotes. That's fine. All right. So we have the string. And now we are going to do Boolean. Okay, so Control S to save, reload. We need to output it. So if you output the value will be 1, true is 1. Oops. So you see that on line 27 we do something wrong. Obviously you come here, you see, oh, it's not value, it's valid, so there's a spelling mistake. So true is 1. It's very easy to remember, right? When it's true, you raise your hand. If you raise your hand, it's 1, so true is 1. And then Control S to save. False is nothing, which is kind of weird. Okay, false actually shows nothing. Alright, so we finished the basic variables. Let's move on to some basic calculations. And the textbook and the PowerPoint slides has pretty good documentation about this. So I'm just go straight into coding. Please read the textbook and the PowerPoint slides if you have time. So let's say I have two numbers. X is equal to 14 and Y is equal to 9. Both are integers, of course. And the result is equal to, we know that that will be 23, right? So I can easily do this. Oops, I'm running out of space, so I'm just going to make it a little bit unreadable. The space doesn't really matter. So you should get 14 plus 9 equals to 23. Right, that's pretty straightforward, okay? And you can also write it that way if you are really lazy. Yes, lazy people can write it that way. You get exactly the same thing because the values will be evaluated. And I think this one will actually cost more processing power for the PHP. Personally, I still like to write it that way, like an old programmer, you know. But anyway, so let's say that's addition. All right, subtraction. I'm doing a lot of Control C, Control V, okay. So you get 5. So that is subtraction and then multiplication. Multiplication, okay, and division. All right, not very pretty, isn't it? What if we want 2 decimal places? Okay, you can do, oh, that brings up what if you want to format, okay? PHP have very good documentation. So let's say you want to Google PHP format to 2 decimal places. Okay, you can use number format under the menu. You can also use round, okay, but if you look at it here, there's an example, say I want to format it to, if you just do number format, they will give you this sign here. If you want to say how many decimal places, okay, 2 decimal places and some other things you can add. All right, so there are some examples you can use. Okay, and this is PHP menu. It's a very good place to look at examples. Another place, if you want something fast, is W3 Schools. They have like, hey, I want to format this to 2 decimal places. What do I want to do? What can I do, right? So you can test it out. So 2 decimal places is this format. Okay. All right. So you want to format this to 2 decimal places. Okay, 2 decimal places. And then you put this after this. Instead of get this weird number, you get 1.56 because you 2 decimal places. Okay, and finally there's mod. Mod basically means remainder. Percentage sign is mod. So 14 divided by 9, you have 1 remainder 5, so that's mod. Okay, that is a good place to stop. Alright, in the next video we are going to do date. Alright, thanks for watching and see you soon.